Alright guys, welcome back to the garage today. Today, I'm going to do a video guys that you guys specifically asked me to do. And it all has to do with the beds in my camper. Either the bunk beds or even the full-size bed. So today, I'm going to try to help you guys out. I've been having a lot of requests on this. And to hopefully help you guys make some beds of your own in your custom trailer. So today I'm going to actually walk you through the beds, or the thought process I had, maybe some tips and some tricks to kind of help you, because every single one of these is going to be a custom install. You know, it may work for my trailer and it may not work for yours. It depends where you install it. I had some things I had to figure out, like I have a wheel well down in here, and also the biggest thing is the height. My trailer is actually 8-foot tall ceilings. A lot of the cargo trailers aren't 8-foot ceilings. They're like 7 foot, 7'6". And it's something you need to consider. I had a buddy of my trailer out here, and I had one of those golf carts, and it wouldn't fit through the door because the height requirement. So that was one of the things I reached out and I was like, hey, I need one that's like 8 foot tall. It gives me a lot of head clearance, and it really helps with these beds over here, because that's one of the biggest things you got to figure out. So let's jump on the beds real quick. Both these beds are made almost the same, even though the one's a bunk and it flips this way and the other one's the support on the walls and the support of the frame and the mechanisms, all that's really going to be the same on both beds. It's just the orientation, and the bunk beds is going to be a little bit different, one because there's one here and one here, but this leg that sits out there, that's about really the only really difference between these two beds. So what I did for you guys today is I have the set of bunk beds, and this comes to my first discussion point is you need to get the height of your trailer, because in this case I wanted them to go on the side, so I can't have, you know, two humongous wide beds. So I narrowed it down to these types of mattresses, and that gave me enough room, you know, from here, have a little space in here and a little space in here. And that's something you're just going to have to figure out. It really just going to depend on how much real estate you have on your walls. So what I did, I kind of narrowed it down, kind of got an idea, did a lot of measurements on it, and I ended up getting these mattresses. I ordered the mattresses. And that was one of the biggest things, is I would highly recommend actually having the mattress in front of you, because sometimes the measurements aren't the same. Sometimes they over-calculate stuff. So I would definitely get that mattress you're actually going to use before you actually start building any of this. So what I'm going to do is walk you through how I did it from the beginning on it. So what I did for you guys today is I took my bed system completely apart for you guys to try to give you all the best the view when I built this. So what I did is I got my mattress, and I built this frame, this outer box on it. And what I did, I just got the actual measurement of my mattress, and I believe I added 1 inch to that measurement on this side and this side. And I got this stuff right here. And this is when you go to like a raw lumber or a raw metal supplier. This is called angle iron. It's just 2 inches by 2 inches. It's pretty much a piece of metal like this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's just pretty much, they call it angle iron. And all I did is I got this measurement, I put a 45-degree angle on it. You can see the 45 there. I cut it on a chop saw, a metal chop saw, 45. So once I got all this piece and the other pieces cut, I put them together, and then I welded them up. And then on the back side, I made it all smooth. And this is what the back side of it looks like. See, this is that 45-degree angle. Some guys may say that you could actually overlap this piece on this piece, and you'll have an overlap, and you technically can do that. That's kind of like I don't want to say a cheater way of doing it, but it definitely will work. But I wanted it this way because you can see it is a nice clean connection right there. The corners are real nice and smooth and stuff like that. So I went with that route. I wanted it as smooth and as nice as I can get it. But you guys could definitely just overlap it if you wanted to. But I decided not to do that. So once you have the frame fixed for either this bed or the two beds, it's the same, it's just different sizes. I actually went down to my local Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply is, for us, it's kind of like a farm kind of place, and they have panels called cattle panels, goat panels, and pig panels. But anyways, I ended up getting the panel where these squares, it has the same squares throughout the entire piece. They sell some pieces where it's bigger and it gets smaller, but I wanted the same squares throughout the entire project on the bottom side. And so this one thing, it does two things. One, when you put that metal in there, and I welded every little piece on there, it gives your bed a lot of support. Like from the, it won't tweak or anything once you weld that in there. It really locks those 90 degrees in and makes you a nice solid platform on it. It won't wiggle or anything like that. So I had the whole platform for all my beds laid out, and one of the things I did too is I did everything on the floor. I have a shop, and I built this entire system on the ground, so that gave me a nice level surface to work on. And so I would definitely recommend that if you're trying to actually build this while it's on the wall. I think you're gonna have a real hard time doing it like that. I actually have some pictures of when I was making the system and it was flat on the ground. So I would highly recommend that. I did a couple test fits back and forth. But that's something I would definitely do. But anyways, so I had the frame. So then I had to figure out, how am I going to put it on the wall? And for the little bed, I'm sorry, the one bed, I came up, this is the same stuff. This is angle iron. And for the single bed, I only did this one little leg. I think that leg's like maybe 2 foot long. And this is going to depend, how do you mount that piece to the wall? I have plywood behind here, and then I have this beadboard. So I probably got a good 3/4 inch of wood, maybe 1/2 inch, that I actually got something to screw to. So I got these little lag bolts. They're of course you're going to get the length that you need for your application, and I screwed it on there. So this mounts to my trailer permanently. It will never come out. Anything like that. So I did one for this side, and then I did one for that side. And the bunk beds are the same way. It's just the only difference is because there's two beds, the leg itself, it goes up the entire length. Let me see. Let me pull that bed down and I'll show you guys. You guys get. But this is that same piece of angle iron as I did down there. It's just I ran this one all the way down, so it's one continuous piece, and I did the same little bolts. I bolted it to the wall itself, and then I had a way of properly securing something to my walls. But then I had the mattress, or the frame here, the mattress frame. Well, then I had to figure out, well, the mattresses I got, I believe, were 6 inches thick. So I got this much thickness on it. So when they're up against the wall, they got to be 6 inches away. The platform that holds underneath it has to be 6 inches away. So how do I get this on the wall and be 6 inches away when it gets folded up? So my solution is I ended up building this little I don't know what you want to call it, a bracket, whatever. And it's the same for the bunk beds. The bunk beds are longer because they're oriented the other way. But this little bracket here, it is made out of 2x2. So there's a 2x2 piece right here. It's like I did like a little L right here, and then I got 2 long pieces that go all the way to their end, and it's just another one of these. All right. So this is that piece, and it actually sits up like this, and this will go on the wall. And I'm going to show you guys how to put it on the wall. But the thickness of it is the thickness of that mattress. So I built this little platform, and I'm going to mount it on the wall, and I'm going to show you how this goes on it. And my whole theory was this is those brackets on the wall, I want them to be permanently part of the camper and never be taken out. But my thought was well, what if I'm hauling something and the beds are taking up too much space? I try to make them as compact as possible, but I wanted this trailer to really be a universal, really try to be anything and everything I need it to be. So I wanted the potential of being able to remove the beds. And with this system right here, I can unbolt this from the mounts on the wall and I can take the whole beds off. It's a little bit of work, but I could technically do it. So that was one big concern that I wanted to do. It's not that big of a concern, you know, obviously this is just my personal preference. If you didn't want to, you wouldn't have to do it like this. But I just think it gives you a lot of flexibility on it. So let me throw this on the wall and I'll show you how it gets mounted on there. Okay, so here is the bracket that I built. Like I said, this is the actual thickness of a mattress, and you can see these are the hinges that I used. And the corresponding hinge is bolted on this frame. So this is the frame to this bed. And then there's it's a little hole. And it slides on that silver part there, and it goes down. But anyways, I have the system mounted on the walls on both sides, and all I got to do is I got to slide this in place. You'll see the two holes, and this unit will then bolt to that, and then the bed itself will slide on both these hinges, and that will attach the bed to this, and it secures the whole unit. So let me slide this back on the platform and I'll show you that view. Okay, so here we are. So I got this one little piece, and it needs to go between these two rails. You can see the two little holes. So you put it on here in between the two channels, and all you got to do is just bolt it together. It goes like that. The fun part is going to be finding the holes again. So we put that bolt right there. There, and I used a washer, a flat washer. Then I put a locking washer, and then the bolt. All right, so here we are. I got that side bolted in, and this side bolted in, and this is what it kind of looks like. Like I said, there's the hinge, and there's the long piece right here, and like I said, it's bolted in right there. Maybe give a different point of view of how it is. So it's just this system right here, minus the cat. So now that is securely mounted to these, then all I have to do is, because when I made this on the ground, you know, I had this lined up perfectly with this. So, and then I put the hinges on it, and then I welded them. So then all I got to do is get this portion of the hinge. Oh, crazy cat. Get this part of the hinge lined up on here, and then it'll just slide over that, and then that will actually connect my bed to that system, and then that'll give it the hinge functionality. So I'm going to try to put that on there. It could be a little tricky to do, mainly just with one person, but I should be able to get it done. Hi guys, so I got the bed back on there. It was kind of a chore. I had to get my wife to help me because I had to have this one perfectly aligned, that one perfectly aligned at the same time, and then they slide into position. But you can see, like, they're perfectly lined up. There's the hinge. A lot of people are asking me, where do I get these hinges at? And where the place where I got this is 2x2 square, and this is the angle iron for the bed. They also sell hinges. These are actually made for like a gate, like a metal gate, and they're weldable hinges. So I literally just welded them on there. And one of the things I did too is, this is the piece that holds the silver part, and this is the loop that goes on it. I intentionally faced the I guess the rod towards the front of it. So my theory is if I'm driving, because this is the back of the trailers here, if I'm driving, that they would naturally stay in place. If we did them the other way, it may potentially have the opportunity to, with just driving and stuff, they would slide and come out. So I intentionally faced them that direction, but then I also wanted an extra step too, is on the front of these. Like, this is the front one. You may not can see it, but I actually drilled a hole through here. I don't know if you could see. Yeah, there's a little bit hole right there. and I put a cotter pin, one of these cotter pins, in that little hole. I don't know if I can put it in there, but see, I put a cotter pin in there. I can't do it. I can't do it now. No, I can't do it right now. I actually hurt my thumb the other day, but anyways, I put a cotter pin on there, right there, and then it won't allow it to go out that way anyway. So it's just like an additional safety thing, but that was just one of the things I did to help that portion. So now we have the permanently mounted angle iron and that little contraption I built. And this little contraption is built the same depth of my mattress plus the thickness of the angle iron, which is like that much. And that's what that is. So this makes it so when the bed goes up, that is the same, that is the thickness of my mattress for the most part. So now we have that, and it goes up. So now I have to figure out a way is, how do I mount it up to the wall and stay? So what I did is, on the big bed, I built these little metal things here. Maybe I can see it on the other side better. But I built this little contraption. It's the same angle iron, the same concept as that permanent mount. This will stay permanent on my trailer at all times. But I bolted it to the system, and then I just got a piece of angle iron again and brought it out. And I just kind of cleaned this up. I smoothed this all out so it's not sharp. You can't cut your hands or anything like that on it. And then I put these little holes on both sides. And those little holes come into play when I put the locking mechanism on it. So let me throw the locking mechanism on there, and I'll show you how I lock the beds in position. I had this little, it's like a spring thing right here. I'll show you guys what it is. So this is that bracket I did, right? And what I did is, the same place that had the weldable hinges, it's this little bracket. And see, it's got like a little lock pin, so you can pull this pin back, it'll stay open that way. And so what I did is I push it in there and I line that up. So then all I gotta do is I get it past that point, I release the spring, and then all I gotta do is push my bed back and it goes through. And now that locks it in. So the other side is the same way. I got the same little clip. All I gotta do is pull it back so it clears that little portion, push the bed back, and it's a little tight, but that's good. And then the same thing. So now it clicks in the spot. So now it's mounted on there. I had the mattress on there a little crooked. I didn't put it on there fully correct, but that's what you get. And then for this bed, I got these little legs. I'll link the where I got these on Amazon. It's these little foldable legs, and you just push them down, and it folds both of them down. And got one on the side. But I will to let you guys know is this leg is actually shorter than that leg, and you're like, why is that? On my trailer, from this point on, there's a little crack right there. Whatever. The back of my trailer actually dovetails. It actually goes down. So this trailer, this portion is lower than this portion. And that's just a simple fix. I just literally made that leg a little bit longer, and then this one, and no big deal. Same thing, just click it. So with all that, now I have the mattress that's folded completely up on there like that. The bunk bed was the exact same way. I had the long permanent thing strapped to the thing, and then over here I only had one of those little brackets that mounted to it. Over here I just have another one. See, I have it right here, and it's stuck in there, and you see it's got the little angle iron. It's bolted in there here, and there's the weld, or the I'm sorry, not the weld, the weldable hinge. And see, this one's got the cotter pin on it, so there's no way that this cotter is going to slide out because of that pin itself. But this is that 2x2. You can kind of see it in there. There's two of them. I got one here and one here, and the only difference is I mounted one here and I mounted one up there. And the biggest difference between the big bed and the double bed is the legs, the outside legs. Those were easy to make because it's it's not in sync with something else. It's by itself and it's no big deal. But this one, what I had to do is I folded the bed down, and I folded them both down because at this point they were independent of each other. So this one would actually swing all the way down and hit that one, and this one would swing and just hit the floor. So what I did is I put them in the camper. This is actually the last step. Everything else I built on the floor. I had everything mounted on the floor of my shop. I had it all mocked up and stuff like that. Of course, I did a bunch of measurements in my camper while I was making it. But the legs, I had to actually build them in the camper. So I mounted everything into it. It was all painted black, and it was its final matchup, and I had it all in there. But I still had to make these legs. So what I did is I opened up the bed. So let me open the bed real quick. All right, guys. So what I did is when I got it all into the trailer is all I did was I got a piece of lumber, and I supported this bed. I put a level on it. Of course, my trailer was level too, but I leveled my trailer out. But anyways, I leveled this completely out, and then I got more pieces, just like scrap wood, or I think I had a floor jack under there at one time, so I could fine tune it. But anyways, I got these beds perfectly level and perpendicular to each other. And then when I did that, then I actually could get this measurement and see how tall I needed this piece to be. So all I did is once I got that, I cut me off a piece that I needed, and then I measured from here, the very edge, to the actual bolt hole, and I made that the same on both of them. But it's very, very important that these beds are absolutely like perpendicular to each other, and then it's also very important that from here to that center of that bolt hole is identical. It has to be the same. If it isn't the same, once they start going up, they'll get kind of jammed up and they'll kind of go a little bit. And mine does it just ever so slightly, and it's just like literally not even a 16th off. But so there is a little play, but if you can get them perfectly, that's where it is. I actually messed up on one of the holes, and it had to move it over completely and weld it up and finish it and stuff like that. But the lesson I learned is beds perfectly perpendicular from here to the center of that bolt on here, and on the bottom one are absolutely the same. And that makes it so when you push them up, because everything has to be in sync. When you're doing this leg and these two beds, everything goes up and it has to be the same, or like I said, it'll just kind of jam up and portion like that. Because what you want is you go over here and you'll see when I lift this up, both beds and both legs, this leg and this leg are doing everything the same. So then when you lift them up, everything stays flat like that. So now that the bed is up, I don't even have it locked in. It actually stays there by itself. Of course, you won't want to drive the road. Is on the big bed, I had this system right here. I had this, which is all fine and dandy when it's a single bed. When you got two beds, I had to come up with a solution of how to mount two beds, the two legs, and put them all together. And what I came up with is I ended up putting the leg. This is that leg on the outside. Like I said, the distance from here to here and the distance between here and that bolt, those are the same. But anyways, what I did is once you put them in, it's flush with the bottom of the bed. And what I did, I made this custom little bracket. It's just a flat piece of metal. I think this is actually a piece of angle iron, and I just cut off the flat portion of it and did that. So then I just got this on the one bed. It's the same springs that the bed is, and you can see they're perfectly lined up for each other. So they're the same on there. So I got the one piece of metal. I took this back, and you can see it's in there like that. And then when I push back on it, it locks the bed. And then when you do that on both sides, one over here, it kind of catches. You push back on the bed, and now it locks in the bed. And now these beds are not going anywhere. They're completely locked in, and that locks it out just like that. All right, guys, that's it. I hope I explained everything, everything that it did. to make these beds. Obviously, like I said before, is I made everything on the floor of my shop, and that kept everything in square and everything like that. And then I actually came out here and installed those first L brackets on the wall. Then I came and installed those 2x2 bracket on the L brackets, and then I slid the bed on the hinges. So it's like a 3-piece type thing for the beds. And then I came in and made the legs last for the bunk beds. That's both of the beds. Alright guys, that's going to be it. I hope this video actually helped you guys. A lot of you guys are requesting this video, and I really wanted to push out to you guys. This is actually like my 5th attempt to actually make this video. It has been so hot in Texas that my camera has actually been locking up, just saying too hot, and just closes down. So today was a semi-cool day. I think it was only like 98 degrees a day and ridiculously humidity. But anyways, I had to get it out for you guys because I know you guys want it. I think a recap on this video is you need to know the height. I would try to get you the highest camper you possibly can. Like I said, mine's 8 foot. It gave me a little bit more space for these beds. They gave me that allowed me to figure out what kind of mattress I needed, and then it just built from there. I believe you could probably put these in any situation you need. You can put them on the back wall, this wall. I mean, I think they're pretty universal. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. I try to answer every comment I can, because I really do like helping people out, and this is one of the major reasons why I started my YouTube channel, not to make $1. I honestly could care less than make $1. If I can help some guys out, help some people out, and I think it's the main thing. A lot of the stuff, some of you guys are asking me where I got the materials. A lot of materials is at a metal yard. The square tubing, the angle iron, what is this called? The paneling. It's like this wire square stuff that some of you might. I got all that there. I got the weldable hinge, and I got the spring portion all at my thing. But I'll actually leave like little some links at the bottom to actually give you a better look at what that is. I think the only thing I actually ordered on Amazon was the foldable hinge for the big bed and the mattresses themselves. So everything else is just a local thing. One of the main tools I use, you absolutely got to have it. There ain't no questions about it. You got to have a welder. If you don't have a welder, your buddy's got a welder, you're going to have a welder if you're going to do it out of metal. I don't know if you could do this out of wood. Wood is just a lot more flexible, and I think it would break, honestly, just because of the weight. So I would definitely stick with metal. I went with the thicker gauge stuff as well too, so I mean it's super strong. I don't see it going anywhere. But you're 100% going to have a welder. I also have a plasma cutter, and I also have a chop saw. You probably could do without the plasma cutter. The chop saw makes it real nice. You can do real nice 45-degree cuts and straight 90s. You probably could do it with an angle iron with a blade on it. It just might be a little trickier like that. But overall, I think anybody can do this. I've had a lot of people like, hey man, I don't know how you do this, and I think the biggest thing is just do it in baby steps. You know, everybody thinks this is a big project, and it may be a big project for some of you guys, but just break it up in sections. You know, make the bed and just make that section up and just slowly piece it together. And I think it'll be one of those things, once you're done with it, you're like, you know what, it really wasn't that big a deal. I think anybody can do it, but it's just something, I just take your time and you can do it. But always, guys, I do appreciate you guys watching the channel. If you like what I got, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, I do appreciate it.